Git crash course for beginners. We're going to continue our tutorial of Git, learning how to use Git, basically check out code, make changes in check-in. So far in this particular project, we already did that. We created a project, cloned it, made changes, commit the changes, pushed and merged. And now I'm just going to do all of that just in one video, like a new commit, right? You don't make changes just once. You're going to keep making changes. So I'm going to show you whatever we did, but a much quicker pace. I'm just going to make more changes to the same repository. Okay, so this is part of a course. I have a free course that I have for engineers. I call it Engineering Toolkit. It's essential things you need to know if you're a beginner engineer. It's a free course. You have the link in the description. It's supersqa.com/engineering toolbox. It has a full tutorial or a full crash course on Git, the one you're watching, as well as a bunch of other essential tutorials for engineers and for QA automation engineers, especially because I focus on automation. That's what I do. And those things are really important for engineers to understand, for QAs to understand. Even manual QAs need to understand a lot of these things. It's not just for automation. That's why I call it engineering and not automation, because manual testers need to work with Git. Even though they don't write code, they still need to manage code. Okay, anyways, before I get into that, let's jump right into the content of this tutorial. So now we're still on the same branch. If I look at locally, let me clear this. If I do git branch, I'm on the same branch. If I do git remote-v, I can see that's the same project. If I do git status, there's nothing changed. There is new file that is not being tracked. So let's say now we want to actually start tracking this. We can add it, or I can create a new one. So let me go to my my IDE. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it page2.html, and let me just copy the content. It doesn't really matter what content it is, just more example. Okay, I'm just gonna say, let's say this is h4 and this is h4. Now if I go to my terminal and do git status, there are two untracked files. So let's start tracking this guy, page 2. I'm going to git add that guy. If I do git status, you can see it's there. Okay, let me clear that. Git status, you see it being added as a new file. Let's also make a change to something that's already been tracked. We know index is being tracked, right? So let's add another line here. Or for example, let's add something else. Instead of doing that, let's add a title, right? This is demo page. We added a title. So now we made a change to a file that existed, the file that's already been tracked. A lot of times that's going to be the scenario where you're going to download. For example, you're an automation engineer and you just joined the company, and you're going to clone their automation code, and you're going to start fixing tests first before you start writing new tests. Most likely you're going to start fixing up tests so you can get used to their framework, you can get used to their structure. So this is what you're going to do. It exists already, you pull it, you clone it, and then you clone it, then you pull all your branch, and then you make a change. So that's what we just did. This index.html existed, we made a change to it. So if I go back here, I'm going to clear and do git status. Okay, now we have a new file, and then we have a modified file. So the new file is changes to be committed, right? It's staged already. This guy is not on stage. We can add it. So we do git add index.html. Now we just added it to like a staging area. So if I do clear git status, and is added into the staging area. So both are staged. So if I do git diff, once you already add it to the stage, it's not going to show you the diff. Okay, remember that. And once you do the git add, git diff is not going to show anything. So if we change this, and instead of this is a demo page, I want to say this is an example page, right? I edited it, I made a change. So if I do git status, I can see that this to the stage, the changes I've done already, they're already staged, and the new change is modified. For if I do git diff index, right? Let me clear it actually to make it easier to see. Git diff index, it showed me the difference, right? This is the old line, this is a new line. Okay, it shows me that. Now I can do git add index, git status. Now they're both in there. Okay, So another thing quickly I want to show you before I commit. Let me make a change to both of them. Let's just say I duplicate this. I'm introducing a bug by duplicating it, and I know this one is tracked, and I'll also duplicate this, and I'll change. This is more example. I'm just going to change this into, I duplicated and just made a change. That doesn't matter, right? So now I go back here, I do clear, git status, they both modified. Okay, they both modified. So if I can do git diff each one. That is what usually I would do. Or you can do git diff without specifying the file name, and it will show you everything that's changed. This change is pretty small, so it's not going to show me a lot. But if it goes to more lines, you just have to hit the down arrow to keep going into the next line. Just if you want to see all the changes, scrolling in steps is not going to work. Just hit the down arrow until you see the end, and you Control C to kill it. Just like everything else, Control C to kill it. Okay. So now clear git status. So now when I want to commit, I want to add each one, right? Git add index, git add page. So a lot of times you're going to have like 10, 20 files, and you're going to do git add each one, right? A little bit annoying. So what you can do is git commit. When you're committing, remember we have the M, right? We can do M and A. We can do, I do AM, all of them. Okay. It's easy to remember, all of them. A mean add, and M is message. Usually what I showed you earlier is we do git add. Once we do git add, we do git commit. We add it and we commit it. And when we do a commit, we put a message, -M for the message. But you can also add and commit at the same time by using AM, add and commit. So instead of, like, when you have two files, it's not a big deal. You can just do git add twice and then do the commit. But when you have a lot of files, it's really annoying to do git add on each one. So you do git commit -am, and then you can add your commit message, committing or updating two files, one new, one existing, right? This is just a message. Hit enter. We just committed it. Okay. What do we do after we commit? We're going to push. You can do git status to see what's going on. There's no changes to be committed. Clear. Git push origin. We're going to push it to the origin. Hit enter. At this time, it will ask you for a password. Make sure you put in the password, the token that you've created, the personal token you created. Especially if you're working with somebody else's repository. If you're working with your own repository, I think it would still ask you. For me, I need to look into that. Why is it not asking me? But it should ask you. Okay, so we just pushed it. Now we're going to go to the repository. If I just click on refresh, it's going to show. I should have showed me a little yellow thing saying, "Hey, you made a change." So I'm going to go to pull request. I'm going to say new pull request. And I'm going to say from what branch to one branch, from this branch to my first branch to main. Okay. And it's going to show me all the changes before I even create the MR, the PR, MR, pull request, merge request. I'm just going to create it. I like to see it after I create it. I'm going to say create. I'm going to say create. And I'm going to go to files changed here. Now I can see the changes, right? The red is what used to be, and the green is what is new. In this case, this is a totally new file. In this case, an existing file. It used to be head in one line. Now head is in two lines with something in the middle. Okay, and you can really play around with the view. You can change how you can see it. I don't remember where it is, but you can actually see it side by side instead of up and down. You can see the old version in the new version. There's a lot you can do here, but this is the essentials that I want to show you. Then you can create. You can actually merge it. So go to conversation tab, click on merge request, confirm merge, and this is pretty much merged. So if I go to code, the homepage, and main, I just took my branch, put it into main. So the new file is there. If I open index, my new changes is there. So it's all on main. So everybody else, some other engineer in your team or in your company have access to this, because on main. I mean, they can also access your branch if they wanted to, but usually when they create a branch, they create a branch from main. Okay, So what we're going to do is I'm going to call this project done, and let's start another project, basically continuing. What we're going to do is do the same thing, but we're going to do it on a new branch, the same repository, new branch, and we'll just go through it quite fast. Check out a branch, make a change, commit it, and push it. Okay, the next project I'm going to call it workflow number 2. Is going to be pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to do the entire thing in one video because I'm going to go faster. Then I'll have another project where we're going to show other new things. In the next project, I tried not to show you anything new, but do everything we did together much faster. Okay. All right, so we finished one of the workflows, and we're going to do more workflows like this so you can practice. Hopefully you are doing it as I'm doing it. You're just not watching it like Netflix, right? You actually have to do it the only way you practice, and everything is pretty straightforward. So you should be able to do it. If you run into any errors, as usual, put it in the comments. Show me what issues you're facing. Also, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Like the video, will really help. Subscribe if you want to see more things like that. I focus on teaching beginner level engineering without actually having to go to college, okay? That is the plan, and let's go to the next one.